Hey guys, what's up? It's Vladdy. So I wanted to talk about social anxiety versus the lack of social skills. So if you have a shy personality or if you're struggling with social anxiety, you'll tend to avoid social interactions. You'll tend to avoid people in general, and you might end up isolating yourself like I did when I had severe social anxiety. And in my case, I stayed at home most of the time and just played video games. And I rarely put myself in social situations, and I almost never talked to people. So you can probably imagine how that could be a problem. If you're not practicing social skills, if you're not talking and interacting with people every single day, of course you're going to lose your social skills. You're not going to be able to respond to social cues. You're not going to be able to read body language. You're just going to be really awkward during social interactions, and people are just going to think you're just weird. And it's not that they're criticizing you, but they just can't understand why you're behaving in a certain way, because you just can't seem to respond naturally, and you don't look natural during a social interaction because you've lost your ability to normally socialize. And social skill is a skill that needs to be practiced. It needs to be honed. Even after you have overcome your social anxiety and think you have a normal social life, you can always improve upon the social skill. And in order to keep it healthy, you have to practice it. And by practicing, I mean just having friends that you talk to, that you have a conversation with, meeting new people, introducing yourself to people, and just being around other people as much as possible. And you can also learn a lot from the communication books. There's plenty of material out there on body language, on how to be more, how to become better at socializing. But first, you need to put yourself out there in the social situations in order to start rebuilding your social skills if you're not confident when it comes to social activities and communicating with other people. So, social anxiety, you're afraid of social interactions. You have a panic attack whenever you're put on a spot, whenever you have to give a speech, whenever you have to call somebody that you don't know, maybe ask a girl out on a date, when you, or it could be something simple like going to a grocery store or just walking around in Walmart and thinking that everybody's judging and criticizing you. So that's social anxiety. You're experiencing the actual physical anxiety as you put yourself in social places. And it doesn't have to be talking to somebody. It can be something like just being in the presence of other people, like going to a Walmart, being in a shopping mall, going to the bathroom in a public place, calling somebody, etc. Those kinds of social interactions. So that's social anxiety. And the lack of social skills is what I already talked about, which is you lose the ability to socialize because of your isolation, because you have avoided people and you avoided social situations for such a long time, and you've avoided communicating with people to the point where you have lost the ability to communicate. Maybe you have never learned how to communicate with people properly. In that case, it will take even more time for you to develop your social skills. But you need to start with something. You can start with something like verbal expression, which is what I talked about in the last podcast, where you just talk about some kind of a random idea or just free talking and recording your voice just to get the feel of what your voice sounds like when you're all by yourself and there's no one around to judge you. And let me tell you, in the beginning it will be awkward. You'll think you're just sounding really bad, like you'll be criticizing yourself a lot. But keep at it, and eventually it'll get better. It'll take maybe a few weeks or maybe even a couple of months for you to start being comfortable with your own voice. But there's just one exercise that you can start with. And from there, you can increase the difficulty of the exercises and take it to the next level by by for example, reading an article and retelling it. And then eventually you can start, as you get more comfortable with your voice, you can eventually start going out there into the real world and introducing yourself to people and using some of that confidence that you have developed while learning, while practicing your verbal expression and practice it on other people. Of course, there's too many skills and tips and tricks to keep in mind while developing social skills. I just mentioned one of them, but what's important to remember is that social anxiety and building social skills, they're related, but they're two different things. Social anxiety is where you experience physical and psychological feelings of anxiety, and the lack of social skills is like the product of you being shy and avoiding social situations. And so in order to overcome social anxiety, you definitely need to work on your social skills, because if you don't have any social skills or you lack social skills, you'll never be able to overcome social anxiety, because you'll always be awkward in social situations, and you'll just make your social anxiety worse by if you keep exposing yourself to these situations, but you lack social skills. So hopefully this makes sense for you guys. All I'm trying to say is it's important to develop social skills in order to overcome social anxiety. And I hope I made my point.